Hello 11th class students, welcome again. I am Sachin Mishra. Student, this is our next video. You know that we have already started chapter number 1, sets, and brief introduction and some definitions about sets we have already covered in the previous video. And now it's time to cover other topics. We will start other topics like types of sets and the theory of subsets in this video. So let us start now. So students, we will continue our sets chapter. In the last video lecture we had discussed about some elementary, very elementary and introductory definitions and properties about sets. Now we will move on to next topic. These topics mainly cover some types of sets and another property, that is subset. So let us first discuss among the types of sets. The first one is, that is, empty set. Now it is definitely clear by its name that set which does not contain any element is called as empty set. Means set which has no element. This is called as empty set. Now you must be thinking, what is its use and why it is important? See students, I must tell you that this empty set is very important, because we have just now discussed elementary and introductory ideas about sets, but we have to discuss more things in detail. So we will come across many topics. We will come across operations on sets where we will need this empty set. The empty set is denoted by the symbol phi. This is symbol, its name is phi. It is also Greek letter. See students, we have to read it as phi only, or you can call it as null set, empty set, both are same, but in general we will always read it as phi. And another symbol is this one. This is also the symbol. Means you know that elements in a set are enclosed in curly bracket. If this curly bracket is does not contain any element, then it is clear, it means that this is a null set. So these are the denotions for empty set, but very generally this is used. Very generally means almost all the times this symbol is only used, that is phi. And let me give you an example. Suppose if A is any set, I say if A is any set of all x, such that x is a natural number between 1 and 2. X is a natural number between 1 and 2. See, I have written between 1 and 2 means 1 and 2 are not included. So definitely your answer will be that there is no natural number between 1 and 2. So this set is an empty set. So we will express this in this way. This is phi. And so I think you must have understood empty set. Next topic is finite and infinite set. Finite and infinite sets. So it is clear, finite set means which has the number of elements which can be counted. Number of elements which can be counted. Counted means even if a set has 1000 elements or 1 lakh elements or whatsoever, if the number of elements can be written into figures, then it is finite set. And infinite set means number of elements cannot be counted. Number of elements cannot be counted. Obviously its examples are, that is n. N means the set of all natural numbers. W, whole numbers. Z means the set of all integers. These are all infinite sets. And any set, if we can write in which there are there are elements which can be counted, this is finite set. And now one thing I must tell you, one thing more is, for finite set, if suppose if A is a finite set, suppose it has 5 elements, then how do we write, how do we express that this set has 5 elements? How do we express, how do we write in figures? We use this symbol NA. See, A is any set, NA, this symbol is used to denote the number of elements in a set. So if A is a set of 5 elements, then we write in this way, NA is equal to 5. You can read it as cardinal number of A. Cardinal number of A means there are the number of elements in set A. It is 5. Or simply you can call NA is equal to 5, means there are 5 elements. See, if we have written NA is equal to 5, then we can get no idea which elements are present, but only we know that there are 5 elements. That's all. Next topic is equal sets. Equal sets means, if suppose A and B are two sets whose each corresponding elements are equal, then A is equal to B. Then the sets A and B are equal. Listen students, we use this, we call sets A and B are equal only when they have same number of elements, and as well as they the elements of A and B are all equal. Means suppose A is a set containing the elements 2 and 3. And let us write one more set. Suppose B is the set of all x such that A x square minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0, where x belongs to R. See, A is a set which is written in roster form, that is 2 comma 3, means it has 2 elements only. And B is a set which is written in set builder form. Here B is the set of all x which satisfy this equation. What is written, that A B is the set of all x such that x square minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0, means those x which satisfy this equation for real numbers, those are only the elements of this. So if we solve x square minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0, this will give you x minus 2, x minus 3 is equal to 0, means x is equal to 2 and 3 only. Means here B also contains the same elements, that is 2 and 3. So clearly we can say that A is equal to B. So now I think you must have understood what is meant by equal sets. Second thing, next one is equivalent sets. Equivalent sets means, if suppose A and B are any two sets, then if NA is equal to NB, then A and B are equivalent. It means for A and B to be equivalent, their number of elements must be equal. It does not matter what the elements they do contain, and it is not necessary that they may be equal, but if their number of elements are equal, then these are called as equivalent sets. So it is clear that all equal sets are equivalent, but all equivalent sets may not be equal. Then, so this was about equal sets. See students, the exercise 1.2 of your exercise of your chapter 1 sets in NCERT textbook is based on these topics only. The second exercise is extremely easy, and you can go through the questions very easily. All the questions are very easy and objective type only. You will hardly take 5 to 10 minutes to solve 6 questions present in this exercise. And now we will move towards the next topic, that is subsets. See students, if A and B are any two sets, and if suppose X is an element that belongs to A implies X belongs to B, then we say that A is subset of B. A is subset of B. Symbolically, this is written in this way. This is the symbol for subset. This one. We have to read it subset only. This is also another symbol used for denoting subset. We will read it as A is subset of B. See what we have written the definition, that X belongs to A implies X belongs to B, then A is subset of B, means if all the elements of A are present in B, then A is subset of B. See here you have to keep this in mind, that elements of A are present in B. It is not necessary that all elements of B are also present in A. It is not necessary. Its example is, suppose A is a set containing 3 elements 1, 2 and 3, and B is another set containing 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then here you can see that all the elements of A are present in B. So this means A is subset of B. This is the definition of subset. Here if A is subset of B, then it is not necessarily equal that B is also subset of A. But we can write here, but B can be written as superset of A, and the symbol for superset is just inverse of this one, like this. But see, this symbol is not in use as of now, so we will not focus very much on this symbol B superset of A. We will always use this symbol A subset of B only. And so I think you have understood the meaning of subset, and there are few important notes about this one, subset. See, you must be very clear. I must tell you that if happens, note number 1, if suppose it happens that if A is subset of B and B is also subset of A, if this happens, then this double implies that A is equal to B. Double implies means, if suppose A and A is subset of B and B is subset of A, this means A is equal to B, and inversely if A and B are equal, then A and B both are subsets of each other. Then note number 2, second thing, that phi is subset of every set and itself. Means phi is, it is null set, but it is the subset of every set, any finite or infinite set. Third one is any set A, any non-empty set A is subset of itself. It means symbolically we can write it as this one, A is subset of A. Because see, definition of subset is very clear, that if we write A subset of B, that means all elements of A are present in B. So here also this definition holds that all elements of A are present in A. So A is subset of A, means every set is subset of itself, and phi is also subset of itself. So these are few properties of sets. And if suppose you are given a finite set, like A is a set given in which these are 2 elements, then writing its subsets is very easy. The subsets of A are, clearly the subsets are, one subset is phi that we have just discussed, then another subset is A only, every set is subset of itself, and other subsets of A means those sets of which elements are present here. So this is this one and this one. This is a singleton set in which only one element 1 is present. This is also a subset of this one. Similarly, this is also a subset of this one. Similarly, if I ask you, suppose X is any set containing 3 elements 1, 2 and 3, then if I ask you to write all the subsets of X, then its all subsets are phi. First of all, phi is the subset of every set, so phi is the subset, and X is subset of itself, so one more subset is this one. Then other subsets are this one, singleton set which contains 1, then singleton set which contains 2, singleton set which contains 3, then set of 2 elements each, that is 1 comma 2, then 1 comma 3, and then 3 comma 2 comma 3. So these all are the subsets of this X. So writing down the subsets of any given set is not very difficult, it is very easy. And see here there are 3 elements in this set X, and the total number of subsets is 8. Here you can count there. And similarly in this one, in this set there are set A, there are 2 elements and its total subsets are 4. We can generalize this result. We can write a general formula for this one, that is the total number of subsets of any set containing p number of elements is 2 raised to p. If suppose if a set contains one element, then it has 2 raised to 1, means exactly 2 subsets. And if the set contains 2 elements, then it has 2 raised to 2, that is 4 subsets, and so on. Means see students, the symbol means the set of all subsets of any set A is denoted by PA. PA means it is called as power set, that is power set of A. Means here if we group all these sets in a single set, then the set so obtained will be called as power set of X. Students, so far we have covered the topics subset and power set. I think you might have understood very well, very clearly what does power set means. And now I will give you example of some subsets of real numbers only. Now you know that n is subset of W. Similarly, W is subset of the set of all integers, where integer is also, see, integer is denoted by Z, and integers, the set of all integers is also the subset of Q, that is the set of rational numbers. Q is the subset of all the real numbers. So these are some examples of subsets. And T is also the subset of R, that is real number. T is the set of all irrational numbers. And now our next topic is, for now the next topic is intervals. See students, this is now again new topic to you. Why do we use intervals? What does it mean? Let me explain you. See, interval is also interval is also a type of set, and this is used for expressing all the numbers between any two given numbers. Means if I ask you to write the set of all the elements, all the numbers between 1 and 2, means suppose A is a set which contains all the numbers such that X lies between 1 and 2. Then see, we cannot write this set in roster form, because there are infinite real numbers present between 1 and 2. So this set cannot be written in roster form, but it can be expressed in a new form called as interval. This same set can be written in this way. Here what we have done, we have written 1 and 2 in small bracket, enclosed in small bracket, separated by comma. It means that this set contains all the numbers between 1 and 2. Here just make it clear that 1 and 2 are not included. Similarly, if we have to write a set, suppose B is the set of all x such that 1 less than equal to x less than equal to 2, then this is the set of all the real numbers lying from 1 to 2. Means this is the set which contains 1 and 2 also, and all the numbers between this one. For this one we use the symbol this. We enclose 1 and 2 separated by comma between this larger bracket. If we enclose the numbers in circular bracket, then this is called as open interval, and this one is called as closed interval. It has very simple meaning. Closed interval means the end values are included, means this is the set which contains 1 and 2 also, and all the numbers between 1 and 2, and this contains only the numbers between 1 and 2, not including these end values, that is 1 and 2. Similarly, there are sets like this also. If we have to write in this way, here what does it mean? That this is a set in which 1 is not present but 2 is present, and all the numbers between 1 and 2. This can be written in this way. This is open closed. Similarly, if we write in this way, then it can be written as closed open. Here 1 is included, 2 is not included, and all the numbers between 1 and 2 are included. See, based on this we can write the set of all real numbers in this way also. Here the set of all real numbers is the set of all the numbers from minus infinity to infinity, means all the numbers on the number line. And see here, minus infinity and plus infinity, they are the numbers which are not defined, means whose values are not determined. So we always beside them we always place a circular bracket only, never place in this one like this. This is wrong symbol. So wherever if we have to use infinity or minus infinity, beside them we will write this small bracket only. Means if suppose you have to write all the numbers between 2 and infinity, so we will write in this way, this one. Similarly, if you have to write in the set of all numbers between minus infinity to 0, we will write in this way if 0 is included. So this is done. And the geometrical representation of a set of an interval is very simple. If suppose you have to express geometrical representation if suppose you have to express this interval, suppose 1 to 5. See, this is closed interval containing all the numbers from 1 to 5. Its geometrical representation is this one. You have to draw a number line. On this number line, somewhere there is 1 and somewhere there is 5. So how to represent this interval geometrically? We will make 2 dots over 1 and 5, and these dots should be closed dots. Closed dots implies that 1 and 5 are included, and draw a line between them. So this is this geometrical representation of closed interval 1 and 5. Similarly, if we have to express 1 and 5, open interval 1 and 5, then for this one The geometrical representation is this one. Here here the dots over 1 and 5 are open, which implies that 1 and 5 are not included, but all the other numbers are included. Similarly for this one, 1 comma 5, here 5 is closed, so 1 5. For 1 we will use open dot, and for 5 we will use closed dot. And lastly for 1 5, here 1 is included, 5 is not included, then we will use this symbol 1 5. So closed dot over 1, open dot over 5. If suppose there is an interval in which one of the extremities is infinity, like this one, 2 to infinity, so this can be written in this way, this can be drawn in this way. Here 2 is not included, so over 2 we have placed open dot, and this goes up to infinity. Here we have marked an arrow, so it means that this goes to infinity, and so on. And now the last topic we have to cover is universal set. Its concept is very simple. Universal set means for every time if we are dealing with some sets, then we must have a set which is of which the given sets are subsets. So that set is called as universal set. Suppose if we are talking about any two sets, suppose A and B, so at times we need some set for which the given sets are subsets, then this is called as universal set. See, we will use this in many questions. Means if suppose A is 1 comma 2 comma 3, B is another set 3 4 and 5 and 6. So if suppose we are dealing with these two sets, we are doing some operations on these sets, so sometimes we need a set of which these two are subsets, then that set is called as universal set. See, universal set is not predefined, it will be given in the question, and it is not necessary that the universal set is always set of real number or set of integer or set of natural number. It will be given, it may be any kind of set, but if universal set is given for these two sets, then this means that these two are subsets of that. So this is universal set. So this is all about today's topic of subsets, and we have covered so many topics, and you will get a worksheet also along with this one, and you have to complete the second and third exercise of this chapter. Second exercise is very simple, and this third exercise is purely based on the concept of subsets. So it's also very simple, it contains only 9 questions, and complete this. So we'll discuss the further topics in the next video lecture. Thank you very much.